Hello everyone, my name is Suraj Shrikant Kalakwade, and today I am going to discuss some points on the exception. Okay, exception is the process which is used in the uh, Java programming language to handle the exception during the program. Okay, so I will start today's video session. Okay, exception handling is a powerful mechanism to prevent the exception during the execution of the program. Okay, it enables the program to complete the execution even if an exception occurs in the program. Okay, an exception is an unwanted event that occurs during the execution of the program. These events can break the simple flow of the program execution. Okay, an exception handling in exception handling in Java is a different from the error. Okay, so we cannot call this error. Error is such a serious problem that cannot be tried to catch during the program execution. But while the exception can be handled using the statement try catch block. Okay, an exception occurs in the Java program due to multiple reasons. Okay, some of them are as follows. The first reason is an exception occurs when the exceptional conditional are raised in the arithmetic operation. Okay, so the second reason is it occurs when the array in program exists through an exceptional index. Okay, so the next reason is input and output operation is interrupted. Okay, next reason is when the class doesn't have the member specified. Okay, then next is when a thread like processing, sleeping, waiting are interrupted. Okay, then another one is when accessing the number of a null object. Okay, then next one is when requested files found to be unavailable at the specified location. Okay, then JVM runs out of the memory. Okay, then and another one is the user passed invalid information. Okay, so these are the reasons which can cause to get exception during the program. Okay, in case of exception handling, the program control execution flow is as follows. Okay, once the try block code gets executed without any exception, then program execution skips the catch block and goes to the final block, like code after catch block is executed. Okay, if a try block occurs any exception, then program execution moves to the catch block statement, and the remaining code is try block is never executed. Okay, if the final block is present at the catch block, then final block gets executed. Okay, if the try block contains any return statement, still final block executed. After execution of the final block program, control execution moves to the try block. Okay, and then the return the statement execution. Okay, if the final block contains the return statement, it overrides the try block and the return statement. Okay, exception in Java while program is basically having two categories, such as first one is the built-in exception and the second one is the user-defined exception. Okay, so I will explain for built-in exception. Okay, these are the type of exception which can caught using already existing Java libraries. So it is also known as unchecked exception or runtime exception. Okay, so the second type is user defined exception. User defined exception, these are the type of exception which can be caught using some of the customized exception which are created by the user, and user should have to ability to handle these exception. Okay, these exceptions can also be called as exception or compile time exception. Okay, in exception there are some other types also present. Okay, the first one is arithmetic exception, second one is class not found exception, third one is IO exception, fourth one is array index out of bound exception, fifth one is file not found exception, sixth one is null pointer exception, then next one is no such file exception, eighth one is no such method exception, then string index out of bound exception, runtime exception, then number format exception, and interrupted exception. Okay, these are the types of exception which are occurred during the exception handling. Okay, so I will explain with you one by one. First one is the arithmetic exception. This exception gets invoked whenever there is some mismatch at the time of arithmetic exception. Okay, second one is a class not found exception. If any class is not present or defined properly, then it will result into the class not found exception. So next one is the IO exception. When any of input or output gets terminated abnormally and operation gets failed, then it calls input output exception. Okay, so the next type is array index out of bound exception. Whenever any wrong index is accessed and the range of the index is unreachable or cannot be accessed, then it comes to be array out of bound exception. Okay, so the next type is file not found exception. If any file is not found properly mentioned in the path or does not get opened properly, then it will through file not found exception. Okay, so the next one is null pointer exception. This type of exception occurs whenever a member of the object points or refers to any null value. Next type is no such file exception. This exception occurs whenever there is no file. There is no field present or any variable present. Okay, so the next one is a no such method exception. While trying to access any method in class and that method is not present or defined clearly, then it will lead to no such method exception. Okay, the next type is string index out of bound exception. Okay, if the index ranging is negative or more than the defined index range in the string, then it will results into this exception of a string out of bound exception. Then runtime exception. Okay, during runtime, if any kind of exception arise, then this type of exception are known as the runtime exception. Then number format exception. Any exception while cannot get converted into the numeric format from the string defined, then it will lead to number format exception. Okay, so these are the types of exception which are occurred during the exception handling. Okay, so the last part is conclusion about the exception. Exception in Java plays a plays a very vital role because it helps in catching and simulating or simultaneously throwing the root cause for the abnormal termination of the program. And it often cause and consumes a lot of time for programs to run the and execute the program before sorry therefore this kind of fatal exception should not occur frequently at the time of production or the implementation. So these are the explanation about the exception which is occur during the exception handling while running the program. So thank you, sir.